I'm doing a reveal of my RRSP in a Questrade Aggressive Growth Portfolio coming up. What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sean. Thank you for coming back. This is a big episode. We're gonna talk a little bit about my RRSP account with Questrade in a bit. But first, the whole reason this video is happening is you guys have unlocked it. We've hit another milestone, that's the 500 sub mark. And I promised that I would make a video about another account that makes up my net worth. So first of all, thank you so much guys. When I started this channel like a year or a bit, probably about 15 months ago, I never really, expected it to grow into much. I was just doing some videos for some friends and having a little bit of fun, but this has really been awesome. I appreciate every single one of you. So thank you for subscribing and sticking with me through the journey. I hope I'm providing value and hope to continue to do so for you guys. Okay, before I start tearing up, I'm gonna unlock my RRSP account and show you guys what I have in there. So far, we have talked about the TFSA and my margin account with Questrade. Well, I have another account actually with them, which is my RRSP, and that is in a different vehicle. It's in one of the Questwealth portfolios. Before I get into that part of the video though, and talking about Questrade and portfolios, I just wanted to go over what an RRSP is. It's a registered retirement savings account. It's actually a tax deferral vehicle. So what it tries to do is you actually put money into this, you get some back as a tax break, and what the idea is that you put it in this account, it's protected from being taxed. Way out in the future, when you've grown this account, you can take money out of it when you're no longer working, and that means that you're able to avoid taxes that you would pay now because your income, in theory, is higher when you're working than when you are retired. It is maxed out. You can only put up to 18% of your income or $26,500, whichever is less. That is the max contribution you can make each year. An RRSP can be any type of account, so you can put it in a high interest savings account, mutual fund, one of these portfolios, or just a investment account that you manage yourself. So there's lots of options with it. One more thing to note is that you will be forced to start withdrawing money from this account at the age of 71. You can still contribute and invest, I believe, but there is a minimum amount that you have to start withdrawing at that age. If you guys want more details on this, I did a video a while back. It was one of the first few videos that I did. That's a comparison between a TFSA and an RRSP. I'll leave a link to that right here if you guys are interested. Go watch that video. It's not the best in the sense of cinematography, but the principles are still there and still valid. So go ahead and watch that. All right, so let's talk about Questrade now. So Questrade is a Canadian investment broker. They are who I use to manage all of my investments at the moment. If you guys want a link to some deals, I have a couple in my description. One will get you $50 on a investment account of any most types, margin account or self-directed account. There's also one there for Questwealth Portfolios, which I'll talk about in this video. Remember to hit those if you guys want to open an account. So I've talked about Questrade before, and I talked about how my TFSA is mostly ETFs and index funds. That is what I have been using, and I kind of manage that myself. What I'm going to talk about today is a little bit different in that these are set portfolios that Questrade sets up. So in my RRSP, I have this a little bit more automated in the sense that I pick one of these few portfolios. I put money into this account every month, and right when I put it in, Questrade takes it and buys all the different ETFs and all the different things automatically. I don't really have to think about it. It's a real no-brainer. The reason I have both of these types, however, is I kind of wanted to see over a few years which one would perform better and which one I would like better. And I thought that in time I might be able to make a video that fairly compares my experience between something I've self-directed and investments that are more automated for me. So the investment vehicle in my RRSP is a portfolio. You may also hear the term mutual fund. Mutual funds are essentially baskets of investments that are managed by a mutual fund manager. Traditionally, these were offered at banks. The bank would employ some mutual fund manager, pay them a lot of money to manage these stocks on everybody's behalf and essentially make it easy for the everyday person to invest. But now with the development of ETFs and online banking, it's very possible with a little bit of research and some practice that anyone can actually manage their own portfolios or mutual funds. But at the very least, Questrade, not having to pay for brick and mortar locations, can do the same sort of thing, but at a much cheaper price. And the prices and fees, I should say, for Questrade's portfolios are a fraction, probably about a third of what it would cost you to do at a traditional bank. Now, when you open an account and you start a Questwealth portfolio, Questrade gives you a survey. This is just like what the traditional banks do, and it's kind of like a personality test, but what they're really trying to figure out is your risk tolerance. They're going to ask you your age, they're going to ask you about your investment goals, even a couple personality type questions. They really want to know what you know about investing. Are you going to be staying up at night worrying about your investments? If so, they put you in something more conservative. If you're a little bit more tolerant of risk and you are good with kind of forgetting about it for long periods of time and letting it just grow, or even if you have a good education in finance and you understand how these things work, you're probably going to be in a more aggressive type of portfolio. After you do this survey, Questrade is going to recommend to you one of 5 portfolios, ranging from something that's really conservative, that has maybe more cash and bonds, to something that's really aggressive, which is mostly equity type of stocks. Due to my comfort level and kind of what I know about stocks, even though I'm a little bit older now, I'm in my mid-30s, I actually have become a little bit more risk tolerant, and Questrade has put me into the aggressive growth portfolio, which is the most aggressive portfolio that they have. This may not be the best fit for you. I'm not saying that's what everybody should do. That's just the results that came out of my test, and I agree with them, so I went with it. This assessment should be done every year because your situation changes. Maybe you get a little bit older, you have different goals, things should get more conservative, or you can tolerate a little bit more risk. So Questrade will remind you every year to do the same assessment and see if anything has changed. And it's essentially also setting a timeline to hit your investment goals, whether that's for retirement way out into the future, or even if you're saving up for a house or something in the next 5 or 6 years. This will all affect what type of portfolio you might want to participate in. So let's jump into my account, and I'm just going to show you guys what the aggressive growth portfolio looks like. So you can see from this circle chart that all of the money, almost all of it anyway, is in equity, spread around international, US, and Canadian. So that is kind of the definition of aggressive growth, is that you're almost all fully in stocks. And so it tries to split the pie, I guess you could say, into thirds more or less, and it micro adjusts for those ratios from week to week. So right now it's got 35.2% of my money in international equity, 31.4% in US equity, 31.3% in Canadian equity, and 2.2% is just sitting in cash. So the manager for this portfolio, this is how they've wanted to divvy things up. Everything's in equity, which is what they're kind of limited to, and you won't really see bonds or anything that conservative in here. If you scroll down the page, you can see on the left-hand side, I don't know if you'll recognize some of these, but notice how they're not individual stocks that are being traded in and out. These are all actually ETFs, and Questrade's kind of claim to fame is the fact that they don't charge you commission for investing in ETFs. So everything they do, even their Questwealth portfolios, are essentially combinations of ETFs. So you can even see here some familiar faces like iShares. A lot of this is iShares, SPDR. Like those are all pretty well-known ETF. Now, if I go and click this where it says see details, that actually shows me how I've done. You can expand on your deposits, and it'll show you how you've done overall with this account. Right now, because the market kind of dipped and it's sort of recovered, and I haven't had this account for too many years, you can say my total gains on the $76,000 of deposits that I put is about $4,000, which gives me a simple rate of return of 5.2%, which this rate of return isn't amazing. It hasn't been super consistent. The stock market, I mean, in the last little while, and it's obviously dipped in the spring and it's recovered a little bit now, but not fully. But 5.2% is still a lot better than high interest savings accounts and other vehicles that you can probably have as an RRSP. The more conservative accounts have not fared quite this well, and on average, you should see an aggressive growth portfolio over time appreciate more than a more conservative portfolio. I'm happy with this. I'm not planning on touching the money anytime soon, so I'm just going to continue to grow this account from now until when I retire, which is at least probably going to be 20 years from now. The best part about this, though, is that I can automate the contributions. As I said, I just have automatic withdrawals from my bank account that go into this account every month. The Manager just takes it, they divide it evenly based on the percentages, and 1/3 will go into each one of these equities and a little bit will go to cash. So I don't have to think about it. This automatically invests my money for me, and it grows at 5.2% or whatever that percentage will be. So it really puts it on autopilot and makes sure I'm doing my investments automatically every month, getting ready for retirement. So that's all I'm really gonna say about the Questrade Aggressive Growth Portfolio. But how does this stack up compared to the other accounts that you guys have already unlocked? So the TFSA right now is sitting at $112,473. The margin account at $29,232. The RRSP we just saw is $80,607. So total that you guys have unlocked so far is $222,312. Now there's still more to go. I'd like to set a target for 650 subscribers. If we get there, I'll start talking about a Lira, which is the locked-in retirement account. And I've also got stuff to talk about direct contributions, and we'll talk about the asset value of this house. I'll look forward to unlocking more of these and talking more about them with you guys. Really appreciate it again. Love the support. Hope you guys are thinking about doing some of this investing. If you have any questions about the Aggressive Growth Portfolio, please leave them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. Till next time, have a great week, spread the wealth, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. So it's a registered retirement state. Quickly go over what an RRSP is. It is a savings account. It's a tax deferral vehicle